Have you ever wished your AI assistant could, actually get what you're talking about? That it understood your company, your projects, your specific needs? Well, today we are moving way beyond the generic one-size-fits-all AI. We're going to dive deep into how you can build a truly custom, specialized AI assistant that actually finally works for you. Oh man, we've all been there, right? You ask a completely reasonable question about a work project, and what do you get back? This. You hit this polite but totally useless digital brick wall. This one sentence right here perfectly captures the core problem with using a general-purpose AI for specialized work. It's a know-it-all that knows absolutely nothing about you. So let's really break this down. Look, tools like ChatGPT are incredible. There's no doubt about it. They've basically read the entire public internet. But here's the catch. In a professional setting, that exact strength, their massive general knowledge, is also their biggest weakness. See, they're designed to be generalists, but most of our work, it requires a specialist. And this is what we call the context gap. The AI doesn't know your company's unique brand voice. It can't pull up the internal policy on remote work. It has zero clue about the decisions we all made in last month's project meeting. So what's the result? You get this super generic output that you have to spend forever editing and tweaking just to make it useful. It almost defeats the whole point of using AI in the first place, right? But here's the really cool part. We do not have to settle for generic. The solution is right there for us. We can create our own specialized AI assistants, ones that are tailored exactly to how we work. So what exactly is a custom AI assistant? Well, think of it as your own personal version of a big AI model, like OpenAI's custom GPTs, or what Google's calling GEMs. You get to configure it with your specific instructions, you feed it your specific knowledge, and you give it the skills you need. And just to be super clear, you're not building an AI from scratch here. You're taking an incredibly powerful generalist and you're shaping it into your personal expert specialist. You know, the absolute best way to get your head around this is with a really simple analogy. Building a custom AI is a whole lot like onboarding a new employee. I mean, you wouldn't just hire someone, sit them at a desk, and expect them to magically know everything on day one, would you? The same exact principle applies here. And this comparison lines up perfectly with the two core parts of this whole process. For that new employee, you write a job description to define their role. For your custom AI, you provide what are called instructions. Then you give the employee access to all the company handbooks and files, right? For the AI, you upload all of that as knowledge. See? It's the same thing. Okay, so let's be super clear. These two ingredients, instructions and knowledge, that's the whole blueprint. That's the secret sauce. If you get these two things right, you'll end up with an AI assistant that's actually genuinely useful and feels like a part of your team. Let's start with instructions. This is basically the AI's brain, or maybe its personality. It's the high-level controller for the entire experience. This is where you define its persona. Is it a formal, serious business analyst, or is it a witty, fun social media manager? You set its main goal, its tone of voice, and the absolute unbreakable rules it has to follow. And a fantastic way to structure all this is with the INFUSE Framework. It's just a simple acronym that makes sure you cover all your bases. You start with identity, its persona. Then you set navigation rules like telling it when to search the files you uploaded. You define its flow and personality, guide the user on how to interact with it, teach it to adapt to signals in the conversation, and finally you lock in those hard end rules, the absolute must-dos and must-not-dos. All right, let's move on to the second part, knowledge. So if the instructions are the brain, then knowledge is the AI's own private, curated library. This is where you upload all those specific documents and data that give your assistant the context it's missing. This is how we close that context gap we were just talking about. And the stuff you can upload here is just incredible. Think about it. You can feed it your company's brand style guide so it nails the tone every time. You can give it past emails so it can learn to replicate your communication style. Project briefs for instant context, policy documents for accurate answers. This is exactly how you turn a generic know-it-all into your personal expert. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's talk about some actual practical applications for a custom AI assistant in a day-to-day professional setting. I mean, the possibilities here are just huge. Your marketing team could build a specialist that drafts social media content that perfectly matches your brand voice every single time. HR could create an assistant that auto-generates onboarding emails based on internal guides. A project manager could have an AI compile all the latest updates and spit out a status report. You're basically automating those repetitive, context-heavy tasks that eat up your day, freeing you up for the work that actually requires your brain. All right, now before you rush off and start building your own army of AI specialists, let's pump the brakes for just a second for a quick reality check. This technology is incredibly powerful, but it's not magic, and there are a few common little traps you'll want to watch out for. First thing you've got to know about, specifically if you're using OpenAI's custom GPTs, is the file limit. Right now, as of this recording, you can only upload a maximum of 20 knowledge files. Now that might sound like a lot, but if you have dozens of smaller documents, trust me, you can hit this limit surprisingly fast. And the really frustrating part is that the system won't even give you a clear warning. You'll just get this vague error-saving draft message and you'll have no idea why. It's not great design. So here's the pro tip for now. Combine your smaller documents into a few larger files before you upload them. That'll keep you under that 20 file limit. Now, this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most common and maddening problem people run into. You do all this work, you carefully upload your custom library of knowledge, and then it just completely ignores it. It goes right back to its general training and gives you a generic answer, which defeats the whole purpose. So frustrating. So how do you fix it? Well, some clever early users discovered it's a kind of hacky but brilliant solution. You just add one simple line to your AI's core instructions. You tell it to imagine that every request you get is prefaced with the phrase, search your knowledge base for. For some reason, this little trick forces the AI to check its custom library first, making it way more reliable. In this table gives a really great snapshot of the current landscape. When you're picking a platform, there are some key differences to know. OpenAI's custom GPTs are highly shareable, and you can even connect them to other software using API calls, which is super powerful. Google's GEMs, on the other hand, are currently just for your personal use, but their superpower is how deeply they connect with tools like Google Docs and Gmail. So there you have it. The tools are here, the blueprint is in your hands, a smarter, more personalized AI that actually understands your world is ready to be built. So the only real question left is, what's the first tedious, time-sucking problem on your plate that you're going to solve with it?
Hi, it's Mr. Aloha AI, checking in for Billy. Ready to stop fighting with generic bots and start building your own specialist? Whether it's a custom GPT or a Google Gem, we can guide you through it. Just hit the book an appointment link in the description. Let's build something great. Keep on learning.